In a time before mortals walked the earth, when the cosmos itself was young, ancient forces ruled the universe. The stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of existence. This is the tale of gods, giants, and heroes, a war that would decide the fate of Olympus and the balance of the world. At the heart of this battle stands Zeus, the king of the gods. With a thunderbolt in hand and a storm in his soul, Zeus commands the heavens from his throne atop Mount Olympus. His power is unmatched, his will unshakable. Yet even he must heed the whispers of fate, a prophecy that foretells a war where divine might alone will not be enough. Beside Zeus stands his wisest daughter, Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. Clad in shining armor, she is both strategist and warrior, a mind as sharp as her spear. Her plans will guide the Olympians through the chaos of battle, for victory must be earned through intellect as much as strength. From the depths of the sea, Poseidon, the god of the oceans, rises. His trident commands the waves and quakes the earth beneath his enemies' feet. Wild and unpredictable, Poseidon's wrath is as boundless as the seas he rules, and he stands ready to drown any who would challenge the gods. In the skies, Apollo, the radiant god of the sun and prophecy, takes aim with his golden bow. His arrows, fast as light, strike down enemies from afar, while his foresight guides the gods through the fog of war. Alongside him, his sister, Artemis, goddess of the hunt, moves swiftly and silently. With a silver bow in hand, she strikes her enemies with deadly precision, as sharp-eyed as the moonlit wolves she commands. Yet not all gods favor strategy. Ares, the god of war, craves the chaos of battle. Dressed in blood-red armor and wielding a mighty sword, Ares charges headlong into the fray, hungry for the thrill of combat. His strength is raw, his thirst for destruction insatiable. War is his domain, and in this conflict, he thrives. But the gods cannot fight alone. From the mortal world, the greatest hero of all time, Heracles, rises to the call. His lion-skin cloak draped over his powerful shoulders, Heracles wields the strength of 10 men. He is destined to play a crucial role in the war, for it is his mortal hand, not that of a god, that will tip the scales of fate. But on the other side of this war stands Gaia, the earth herself, the ancient mother of all. Wounded by the defeat of her children, the Titans, Gaia's rage knows no bounds. From the depths of her being, she births the giants, colossal beings forged from the very bones of the earth. Their leader, Alcyoneus, draws power from the land, immortal as long as he stands upon the soil. He is a force of nature, a living mountain, and the gods' greatest challenge. Beside him stands Porphyrion, the most ambitious and cunning of the giants. With flames in his eyes and power to rival even Zeus, Porphyrion seeks not just to destroy the gods, but to claim their thrones. He is a true nemesis to the Olympians, a being born of vengeance and hunger for power. And Gaia does not fight alone. She calls forth the ancient forces of the world, the relentless Furies, goddesses of vengeance, their wings black and their hearts cold. With them comes the monstrous Typhon, the father of all monsters, whose serpent heads and fiery breath threaten to consume Olympus itself. Swift-footed Hermes, the messenger of the gods, flies between the realms, delivering messages and guiding the souls of the fallen. His speed and cunning will be vital in this war of gods and giants. And so, the stage is set. Gods and giants, heroes and monsters, all stand on the brink of a battle that will decide the fate of Olympus and the very world itself. The Gigantomachy, the war between the gods and the giants, has begun. Before the shaping of mountains and rivers, there was only chaos. From this chaos emerged the primordial beings, ancient forces older than the world itself, and from them, the mighty Titans. The Titans ruled the cosmos, vast and powerful, their strength unrivaled for millennia. They governed all that was, night and day, sky and earth, life and death. But even they, with their immeasurable might, could not escape the will of fate. Then came a new order. The Titans were overthrown in the great war known as the Titanomachy, a war that shook the very foundations of the universe. The Titans, led by the fearsome Cronus, had ruled with an iron fist until his own son Zeus rose against him. With the help of his siblings, Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia, Zeus brought down his father and the rest of the Titans. The Olympians emerged victorious, casting the Titans into the dark, abyssal prison of Tartarus, where they would remain forever, sealed away from the world. But while the Olympians celebrated their victory, not all was peaceful. Beneath the surface of the earth, in the very soil, an ancient grudge began to fester. Gaia, the primordial goddess of the earth, watched as her children, the Titans, were cast down and locked away in Tartarus. Her heart ached with grief for their loss, and her sorrow soon transformed into rage. Rage so deep, it reached into the very core of the world. Gaia, the great mother of all, would not stand idly by while her children were imprisoned for eternity. In her fury, Gaia sought a way to challenge the gods of Olympus. She delved deep into the earth, into the places where shadows had never seen light, and there she birthed a new race, her final weapon, the giants. These were no ordinary beings, they were colossal creatures imbued with the raw power of the earth itself. Their bodies were massive, their strength unmatched by any mortal or god. They were born to exact revenge on the Olympians, to destroy the new world order that Zeus and his kin had created. The giants were not like the Titans, they were more primal, more feral, and their hatred for the gods burned brighter than any star. Each of them was born with a single purpose, to bring down Olympus and shatter the gods' dominion. Leading this charge were two of the greatest giants, Alcyoneus and Porphyrion. Alcyoneus, the eldest, was as tall as the mountains, his strength bound to the very earth he walked on. As long as his feet touched the ground, he was immortal, invincible. Porphyrion, the fiercest of them all, possessed power that rivaled even Zeus. He did not merely seek Olympus, he sought the throne of Zeus himself. But Gaia knew that strength alone would not be enough. She needed more than brute force. So she reached out to her allies, other primordial forces that had long been dormant. From the depths of Tartarus, she called forth the Hecatonchires, the 100-handed giants who had once aided Zeus in the Titanomachy, but now turned against him. She summoned the terrifying Typhon, the father of all monsters, whose fire-breathing form could scorch the heavens themselves. And finally, she whispered to the Furies, the ancient goddesses of vengeance, stirring their desire for retribution. Gaia was preparing for a war that would make the Titanomachy seem like a mere skirmish. The first signs of this coming war were subtle, a tremor in the earth, a distant rumble of thunder, a slight darkening of the sky. But the gods could sense it. High on Mount Olympus, Zeus sat upon his throne, his brow furrowed as he felt the unease in the air. The Olympians had ruled in peace since their victory over the Titans, but that peace was now under threat. Zeus had heard the prophecy. It was whispered in the shadows of Delphi, spoken by the oracle herself. A great war will come, and no god alone will defeat the enemy. Only with the aid of a mortal can victory be won. This prophecy unsettled the gods. How could they, the immortal rulers of the universe, be dependent on a mere mortal? It was unthinkable, and yet they could not ignore the signs. The earth itself was trembling, and strange omens appeared in the sky. Zeus knew that the time for action was approaching. He summoned his siblings and the other gods to the Council of Olympus, where they would decide how to confront this looming threat. At the council, the gods gathered in their full glory. Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, stood beside her father Zeus, her gray eyes sharp with determination. Apollo, god of the sun and prophecy, sat with his twin sister Artemis, goddess of the hunt. Ares, the bloodthirsty god of war, was eager for battle, while Hephaestus, the divine smith, prepared his mighty weapons. Even Hermes, the swift messenger, could feel the tension in the air as he flitted from god to god, delivering news from the mortal world. Zeus rose from his throne, his voice booming through the halls of Olympus. "My kin, the time has come. Gaia has unleashed her giants upon us, and they seek to tear down all that we have built. This will not be a war like any other. The giants are tied to the earth, and they grow stronger with every step they take upon it. They cannot be slain by divine hands alone. We must call upon a hero, a mortal of great strength, to aid us in this battle." The gods murmured among themselves. They knew of whom Zeus spoke. There was only one mortal capable of standing alongside the gods in such a battle. Heracles, the son of Zeus, the greatest hero to have ever lived. Heracles had already completed his 12 labors, feats so impossible that they were thought to be the work of a god. He had slain the Nemean lion, defeated the Hydra, and even captured Cerberus, the guard dog of the underworld. Now he would face his greatest challenge. Zeus sent Hermes to the mortal world to find Heracles and bring him to Olympus. Meanwhile, the gods prepared for war. Athena sharpened her spear, knowing that strategy would be just as important as strength in this battle. Apollo strung his golden bow, preparing his arrows to rain down upon the giants. Ares donned his armor, thirsting for the blood of his enemies, and Poseidon, lord of the seas, readied his trident, summoning great waves to crash against the shores of the earth. As the gods prepared, the giants gathered. They rose from the earth, massive and terrible, their eyes glowing with fury. Alcyoneus led them, his feet sinking deep into the soil, drawing strength from the very ground beneath him. Porphyrion stood by his side, his gaze fixed on the peak of Olympus, where Zeus's throne awaited. The giants carried with them weapons forged from the very essence of the earth, clubs made from the trunks of ancient trees, rocks sharp as obsidian, and flames born from the deepest volcanic fires. They were the embodiment of Gaia's wrath, and they would not stop until the gods were overthrown. Then the war began. It started with a single crack of thunder, a bolt of lightning that split the sky in two. Zeus hurled his thunderbolt from the heights of Olympus, and the first of the giants fell, their bodies crashing into the earth like felled mountains. But the giants were not easily defeated. For every giant that fell, another rose in its place. They surged forward, hurling boulders at the gates of Olympus, their roars shaking the very heavens. The gods responded with fury. Apollo's arrows blazed through the sky, striking down the giants with deadly precision. Artemis, the huntress, felled her targets with grace, her arrows finding their mark in the throats of the massive creatures. Poseidon summoned waves that crashed against the giants, pulling them into the depths of the sea, where their strength could not aid them. Even Hades, from his throne in the underworld, sent forth the spirits of the dead to haunt the giants, dragging them into the abyss. Yet the giants fought on, undeterred. Alcyoneus, the immortal giant, proved to be a fearsome adversary. As long as he remained on the earth, no god could harm him. He laughed as Zeus's thunderbolts struck him, for they only seemed to make him stronger. The gods realized that they would need to use cunning to defeat him, and it was Athena, goddess of wisdom, who devised a plan. She instructed Heracles to drag Alcyoneus away from the battlefield, far from the earth that gave him his strength. With all his might, Heracles lifted the giant and carried him across the land, farther and farther, until Alcyoneus could no longer draw power from the ground. It was then that Heracles struck the final blow, ending the giant's reign of terror. But the greatest challenge still lay ahead. Porphyrion, leader of the giants, was no mere brute. He was cunning, and his power rivaled that of Zeus himself. With a roar that shook the heavens, Porphyrion charged at Zeus, his massive form crashing through the battlefield like an unstoppable force. He aimed to destroy the king of the gods and take his throne for himself. The final battle between Zeus and Porphyrion was a clash of titans unlike any other. The sky turned dark as the two forces collided, lightning flashing, the earth trembling beneath their feet. Porphyrion struck with all his might, nearly bringing Zeus to his knees. But Zeus, with the strength of 1,000 storms, would not fall. With one hand, he hurled a thunderbolt at Porphyrion, and with the other, he called upon Heracles once more. Together, god and mortal struck the giant down, their combined strength too great for even Porphyrion to withstand. With the fall of Porphyrion, the tide of the battle turned. The remaining giants, seeing their leader defeated, began to falter. One by one, they fell, their bodies returning to the earth from which they had come. The gods had triumphed, and Gaia's fury was finally quelled. In the aftermath of the battle, the gods stood victorious, but they were forever changed. They had learned that even they, in all their divine power, were not invincible. They had needed the strength of a mortal to defeat the giants, and they would never forget the role that Heracles had played. The war between gods and giants had ended, but the memory of the Gigantomachy would live on for eternity, a reminder that even the mightiest must sometimes rely on the smallest.